Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that's really reshaped, well, everything lately. The Israel-Iran conflict, specifically how it blew up into open warfare in 2024 or 2025. And, this didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the result of decades of shifting alliances, ideological clashes, and intense strategic moves. Our mission today is to kind of unravel that complex history so you can really get a handle on the volatile situation we're seeing now. And here's something that might surprise you right off the bat. Before the 1979 Islamic Revolution, well, Iran under the Shah, they actually had okay relations with Israel. Relatively cordial, even saw each other as strategic partners. In fact, Iran was only the second Muslim-majority country to recognize Israel right after Turkey. That's a world away from today, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. A dramatic reorientation. It really shows how fundamentally things changed. When the pro-Western Shah was overthrown and the Islamic Republic was established, well, that just reshaped everything. Iran's whole identity, its foreign policy, the new regime, it adopted this fervent anti-Zionist ideology. They saw Israel as an illegitimate occupier. Simple as that. So they officially cut all diplomatic ties, commercial ties, everything. That's really the direct starting point, the genesis of this long-running antagonism we've seen.
Right.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this wasn't just some political disagreement. It was a deep ideological U-turn. It turned Iran from, well, a regional partner of sorts for Israel into its most determined adversary. That shift really redrew the map of the entire Middle East.
Okay, so we see the starting point, then this massive change in 79, and for decades after that, it wasn't open war, but more like what people call a shadow war.
Exactly, a shadow war. High stakes, definitely, but undeclared, fought indirectly.
How so? What did that look like?
Well, mostly through proxy support. So Iran backing groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon or Palestinian groups like Hamas. These became key tools for Iran, to extend its influence across the region. And then on the other side, you had Israel involved in, well, pretty extensive covert operations, sabotage efforts against Iran's nuclear program, for instance.
Ah, like the Stuxnet virus. I remember that.
Precisely. Stuxnet is the famous example. It reportedly wrecked thousands of Iranian centrifuges. A digital attack, really, that caused physical damage without firing a shot in the traditional sense. This whole period let both sides kind of push and prod, exert pressure, but without tipping into full-blown state-on-state war.
So that was the status quo for a long time. What finally broke it? What pushed this simmering, decades-long conflict out into the open? Because it definitely feels like we're in a hot war now.
Yeah, the shift was dramatic. It really kicked off or escalated intensely with that Israeli strike on Iran's consulate in Damascus. That was April 1st, 2024. That was seen as a major provocation by Iran.
And Iran retaliated directly, didn't they?
They did, unprecedentedly. Just days later, April 13th, 14th, hundreds of drones, missiles, launched directly at Israel from Iran. Things just ramped up very quickly from there. Then you had Israel's surprise attack on June 13th, 2025. This one targeted Iran's nuclear facilities directly, Natanz, Fordo, these key enrichment sites.
Big targets.
Huge targets. And then the situation escalated even further. Just over a week later, June 22nd, 2025, the U.S. got directly involved militarily, using B-2 bombers, dropping bunker busters, munitions on key Iranian nuclear sites. I mean, these weapons are specifically designed to hit deep, hardened targets. It signaled a clear intent to really degrade their nuclear capability. And that really marked its shift into a truly internationalized war.
And the effects, they're immediate and profound, right? Anyone watching the news can see it. The Middle East is now in, full-scale open conflict. We hear Iran's nuclear program took severe damage, whatever that fully means right now. But the economic ripples are hitting all of us.
Absolutely.
That spike in global oil prices was sharp. And the fear, if the Strait of Hormuz gets threatened or closed, that's a vital waterway. We could see price hikes we've never imagined, potentially triggering a worldwide recession.
It really exposes the fragility, doesn't it? Beyond just oil prices, global supply chains, the whole idea of weaponized resources. It forces you to rethink economic interdependence on a massive scale.
Definitely.
And look, the conflict is still incredibly fluid. Things are changing day by day. So as we wrap up, maybe the critical question to think about is, what does this all mean long term? The implications of this direct confrontation for stability in the Middle East, for international diplomacy, and like you said, the global economy, especially given the risks of things escalating further, miscalculations, or, maybe unforeseen things like massive cyber warfare against critical systems.
Right, lots of unknowns.
It's a situation that demands our continued attention, that's for sure. The full consequences are still very much unfolding.